Okay, I'm gonna be doing some videos this weekend as normal, and I'm recording this early on Saturday morning. I'm gonna go through the ETFs. I'm actually starting with something that's very much not an ETF, which is Ethereum. And I only share this to show that it's a little disturbing how much asset strength there continues to be. And that may bode ill for the one or two bears left, including myself. Because as far as Ethereum goes, there have been two bullish events. The first one was pushing back through this broken trend line, which took place back here. And the second, which is taking place as I speak, is crossing above this level of 4106. And, you know, it sets up the prospect of even pushing to a lifetime high ultimately, which is up there about 48.59. Which is about $600 away, and that's about 15% higher, which is a long way off. But the way things are going, I mean, this has just been like Ethereum has vaulted from 1386 to over 4,000 in a span of 3 months. So pretty scary. Having said that, let's go through the ETFs and kind of catch up with them. Of these, I have 3 short positions, which are GDX, IWM, and the cubes. So here we start with the diamonds. Ain't too much to say. It is mildly interesting that around this area we ground around here for a while and fell. We ground around here for a while and fell really hard, and we're grinding around down there. Up there. So this 440-ish zone 3 times has been kind of an exhaustion point. Whether it is again, who knows, but I certainly hope so, because I am pretty short. Not the diamonds, but just in general. EEM, Emerging Markets, has been Dullsville Incorporated for a while. Weirdly, it's at the same price now that it was in 2007. So, 18 years and no net change. Pretty jaw-dropping stuff. I mean, these are emerging markets. It doesn't seem that way to me. It seems like a passbook savings account, in spite of all the wild swings in the meantime. China, FXI. This is one of the I took profits on this, although I shouldn't have. I still really like it as a short. It seems to me that this key, the trend line here is key, and we broke it here, and 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We've approached it and just have fallen away every time. Plus this dashed red line, which is the base of this zone here, seems to be a very powerful resistance. So it has started to fall away from there, and it would help the U.S. markets fall if this continued to erode. But like I said, no position, but I bet I'm going to kick myself for that. The miners, GDX. This one blasted higher this week. I don't know, it seems close to being pooped out at this point. I got a tight stop on this one, which is just anchored to Friday's high. That would be a short-term trade. I mean, if it did fall, I would cheerfully get out, even at like 54.78, which is only at like a little more than $3 away from here. So short-term. The juniors, kind of the same deal. A little sloppier of a chart, and probably ultimately weaker chart. Gold itself, GLD, has been stalled out for months. The zeal ended around April 22, and we have spent May, June, July, August. We're coming up on 4 months of just dinking around in that area as it digests all those gains. The small caps, IWM, this is the second of these that I do have a position in. Pretty tight stop on this, anchored to Thursday's high. And there's our, pretty crude analog. At least the colors help sort of mark the broad zones of activity. But the analog itself is kind of kaput. At best, the best I can imagine is that this is the sort of you are here area right here, which is pushing into that pink zone and overbought and prepared to head lower like so. That's the best case scenario. The cubes, which is the third and final of these 20 that I've positioned in, and the one I'm least confident about, absolutely least confident. Can't quite tell on this. Did it? Yeah, it looks like it did hit a lifetime high intraday and a lifetime high close. The prior peak was on the 31st. We got to 574.63. On Friday, we got 14 cents higher than that. This weird alternation, red, green, red, green, red, green. Don't see that very often, do you? So in any case, it's above this broken trend line. It's at lifetime highs. It's very expensive, but it doesn't seem to care. August is not a bad month for markets to reach major tops because we're heading into September, the weakest month of the year. And then, of course, October is sort of famous for drops, although it's actually not statistically particularly weak. But, put it this way, if there's any time in 2025 that we have a prayer of a meaningful drop, it would be in the weeks ahead. And I don't know what it'll be from. Earnings season is done. Trade wars are kind of like old news. Economic data, maybe? Inflation heating up? I don't know. But, I'll also incidentally say that this is my one and only options position. Of my 30 positions, 29 are equity shorts. 1 is a bunch of puts on the 565 cube Octobers. So there's about 70 days left. And like I say, I'm not thrilled with how this is behaving so far. So who knows if that'll last or not. Silver, broadly speaking, continues to be strong. Long term, I still think it'll do just great. SMH, the semiconductors, right near lifetime highs, but it's been dinking around for a full month now. Here's July 8, and just dink, 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 dink. No real direction, no real strength, just sort of holding on to massive gains. The spider looks like maybe a lifetime high close. Let me see. Not that it matters that much. 63758. Okay, not quite. The lifetime high close, I guess, remains over here, but we're right near lifetime highs, and it too was like red, green, red, green, red, green. So if you're feeling seasick, that's why. Market cannot seem to make up its mind, and there's no really clear technical objects here to point out. But it's quite stretched, and it looks like it's wanting to get some distance from that midline, but it's failed many times thus far. So it's quite overbought, I would say. TLT, the bonds, same old, massive pattern, and it'll take a lot to break it. But if it does, I think that'll be a sea change in the entire world economic structure. USO oil. Kind of boring with the whole Russia-US talks. Maybe that'll snap down hard with a bunch of new oil in the supply chain. XHB, meh, kind of dull. XLB, also meh. It's teetering on that trend line, which is mildly interesting, and I've left those ovals there as a guide. XLE, energy. This one, more prone to down than up, I would say. There's a lot of overhead supply here. And if oil weakens, obviously, I think that could easily fall into the low 80s, maybe even upper 70s. XLF Financial. This one stalled out this week, and that gap is mildly interesting, 52.27. So we're kind of range around here with 52.27 on the top side, and the gap below at 50.84 as support on the downside. XLU, I stopped bothering with this ages ago. It was at lifetime highs earlier this week. It's just kind of way up there. XME, incredible, another lifetime high. If we gap down on this on Monday, that's pretty interesting because that'll create a rather rare island reversal pattern. So again, if the high on Monday is lower than the low from Friday, 79.04, we'll have an island reversal gap on our hands, which is pretty damn cool. And then XOP, this is one of the cleaner ones. I still think this is every decent chance of taking a tumble, because that's not a bad pattern there in pink. God, this went 10 minutes. Okay, that's it.